Although Expression Design is more the tool for vector editing, Expression Blend has some tools in case you don't have design available or you just want to make some quick edits. The pen tool in Blend has some unusual behaviors that you might not be familiar with. With the pen tool selected, the first click will choose where your path begins. From that point forward, each click will draw a straight line from the last point to this point. However, if you click and drag, you'll create a Bezier point, which will create a curved arc. The longer you drag, the more curved your element is going to be. When you're done with your path, you can either switch to the selection tool to finish your path, or if you want a closed path, you can just click on the same start point to finish the path. Paths can be open, meaning they're not a complete loop, or they can be closed, like this one, where the path goes all the way around. Once a path is done, the pen tool can further edit it by clicking at any point along the path to add additional nodes. Similarly, if there's a node you don't want, when the pen tool is over it, you'll notice that a small minus indicates that the node will be deleted. Delete the node simply by clicking the mouse button. When the pen tool has an X, that means the pen is currently not about to interact with any existing elements, so clicking will start to create a new element. The Direct Selection tool is also available for editing your geometry. I can click on any node and drag it to change the element's geometry. I can also click on a segment and drag it. By using the Control key, I can select multiple nodes and move them together. I can do the same thing with segments, again using the Control key to multi-select. In this case, moving the multiple segments didn't do a lot because there was only one segment connecting them. But in the larger path, you'll see that the remaining segments, those that connect to the segments that are currently selected, will all adjust themselves to keep up. The Alt key can be used. You'll notice when I hold it down, my mouse cursor changes a bit. This will allow me to convert a sharp point to a Bezier point by dragging outward, or by simply clicking a Bezier point, smooth that point to a sharp one. Similarly, I can take a segment, and while still holding the Alt key, drag and cause the segment to bend, or when a segment is already curved, just click on it once with the Alt key down to straighten it. When I have segments selected, I can press the Delete key to delete those particular segments. If I have an open path, as I do right now, when I delete a segment, it will separate the path into two separate paths like you see here. I'm going to press Ctrl-Z to undo. I'll be using the undo feature fairly frequently during this lesson, so remember that Ctrl-Z, or you can also find it under the Edit menu. When you have a standard curved point, like this one in my path, when it's selected, the Bezier handles will show up, and as I move one Bezier handle with the Direct Selection tool, the opposite handle will move along with me. This will make sure that my curve stays a nice smooth curve. However, if I'm holding down the Alt key when I select the Bezier handle, now the connection is broken, and I can move one Bezier handle without affecting the other one. All of these tools have been used to modify a single element at a time. There are also tools for modifying multiple elements at once. To make this a little bit easier to see, I'm going to go to my Properties Inspector and give both of my elements a fill so you can see how they behave. I'm going to change this element red, select the other element, and turn it blue. Now under the Object menu, there is the Combine command. There are 5 different types of combinations, and right now they're all disabled. They're disabled because obviously to combine, you need to have more than one element selected. I'm going to switch to the Selection tool and select both elements. Now a few things are worth noting here. For one, there's a large outer bounding box showing the combined boundary of all the selected elements. There's also a smaller bounding box, when visible, displaying around each individual element, and in this case the red element also has the resize handles. The resize handles indicate that the red element is the primary selected element. The main thing to remember here is whenever you combine multiple elements together, or even separate them, the properties on the resulting element will match the properties on the primary selected element. So now when I go to Object and Combine, I'm going to unite the two elements. Now I have a single path that has a geometry of both elements together, and since the red element was the primary selected element, my resulting element is red. Not only the fill, but the stroke, stroke thickness, opacity, and several other properties are copied by the eyedropper and paint bucket. Now if I go to the object, the other combine operations, intersect does as you'd expect, creates a new path that only contains the geometry that is strictly inside both or all of the elements. Intersect can have more than two elements selected, and only the regions that are contained within all of the elements will be displayed. Subtract will remove all of the pieces of the primary element's geometry that overlap any of the secondary selected elements. Here when I subtract, the portions of my red that were covered by the blue or intersected with the blue are removed. You'll notice in this case that my path is actually broken into two separate segments because the blue path actually cut completely through the red path. This is still one path in the object tree, so as I move it around, both pieces move together.